Violence Coordinating Council. Now please welcome Harris County Commissioner Lesley Briones.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I stand here today very excited about a package that I hope will pass today at Commissioner's Court. We all know that justice delayed is justice denied. And as a lawyer and former judge, I'm so thankful, first of all, to all of the partners who are here today. Commissioner Adrian Garcia of Harris County Commissioner Precinct 2 and our former sheriff. He will share his perspective. I'm so thankful to Judge Tiaiva Bell of the 339th Criminal District Court, as well as Judge Lori Gray of the 262nd Criminal District Court, Sonia Corrales from the Houston Area Women's Center, and Amy Smith from the Harris County Domestic Violence Coordinating Council. I also want to thank Ms. Tanya Mills, who's the Managing Director of Justice and Innovation at OCA. You are a tremendous asset to the Harris County team. To Richard Woods, our District Court Administrator. I'd like to thank Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, as well as all of his team members who are here today, and Natalie Michaelides from Pretrial Services, the National Center for State Courts, our leaders at the Harris Center, including Dr. Kristen Holmes, who we will hear about today, some of the reforms. Judge Payne, who is traveling, our local Harris County local administrative judge, and so many others who were a part of putting this package together. I also want to thank all of the community members and community leaders who provide ongoing feedback to me and my Precinct 4 team on ideas for improvement. And speaking of my Harris County Precinct 4 team, I'd like to give a special thank you to Dr. Samia Rana, Larissa Barreto, Gabriela Lastres, Ann Sung, and our Chief of Public Affairs, Aaron Mintzberg-Spiegel, for all of the work that they put in making today possible. So again, justice delayed is justice denied. I feel extremely strongly about this, not only as a lawyer, not only as a mother, not only as somebody who's been the victim of crime several times, who has done a criminal defense clinic, who's been a lawyer for years, but also as somebody who was a judge, a civil judge, but somebody who saw the potential and power and opportunity we have in our justice system, but also realistically, the inefficiencies and delays that are unacceptable for victims, for defendants, for the lawyers who practice in our courts, for our judges, the court personnel. We can do better, and we will be doing better, and we will work tirelessly until we continue improving. We have passed, in a very holistic way, a multitude of reforms to improve our justice system. 6 new criminal district courts, pay increases for law enforcement officers, especially our detention officers, adding additional funding to Violent Persons Task Force warrant, a multitude. I could go on and on. Today's package is doubling down on the inefficiencies within the life cycle of a case. We know that we struggle with high caseloads. We know we have resource gaps related to technology, related to challenges with court appearances or defendants who are not making it to court. We know we have intense mental health related issues in our criminal cases, and many who are not fit to stand ready for trial and the process that is entailed there. So there's a multitude of levers, and I think of the criminal justice system truly as a system, and so we use these gears as a visual representation. If there's one gear that is not flowing as smoothly and as efficiently as possible, then there's a problem. So again, in close collaboration with all of these partners and community groups, we are presenting today, and I hope our colleagues on Commissioner's Court will support this. It is a 5-pronged area that, again, will double down into these levers of change and inefficiency, that we can find these wins and move things along, move these gears more smoothly. Number 1, there is a tremendous need to upgrade outdated technology. Much of our technology in our courtrooms is over 10 years old. I remember I was a civil court judge, and this investment will help criminal and civil courts. I remember the jurors not being able to use the screens to see the evidence because the screens didn't work, the AV equipment didn't work. And when we tried to fix it, they didn't even make the parts to fix the machine. It is that outdated. And so I went back to my former 8th and 10th grade teacher and me and had the lawyers do binders with tabs. We need to upgrade our technology. So that is prong one. Microphones, speakers, evidence displays. We need to upgrade our servers, our data backup capabilities, especially in times of disaster. And so that is the first step, upgrading outdated technology. The second prong of this plan is to improve court appearance rates. In addition to continuing the personalized phone calls, we will now be expanding bilingual text message reminders to defendants. Plus, we will be exploring other ways to creatively remind them. Some of you have a coffee in your hands. You probably got a text that your coffee was ready when you got that coffee, or that you need to pay your light bill each month. We need to do what we can to make sure we're increasing those appearance rates. And so we will be investing in expanding the text reminder program as well as other methods of communication. The third prong is we will increase mental health support services. Between 2020 and 2023, we have seen a 40% increase in competency cases. We have seen a 17% increase in the average length of stay in our Harris County Jail. The average length of stay is 185 days. What we are going to do, if approved today at court, is we will be expanding our jail-based competency restoration program, which is already proving to be very effective. We will be adding funding for 30 additional beds, taking us to a total of 50 beds. We will also be restructuring and streamlining operations and resources so that we can be tracking the individuals who need to go through this competency restoration process, so that as they wait for the bed, we are tracking that time as they are in the bed, getting restored to competency, hopefully to stand trial. We will be tracking that, and we want that streamlined data tracking process and situational awareness, not only within our courts, but in all actors of the system. Additionally, with regard to the therapeutic resources, there would be funding for 3 care coordinators, 1 psychiatric doctor, and 1 psychiatric nurse to augment the resources we have at our jail-based competency restoration program here in Harris County. The fourth component is to sustain funding for the associate judges and the support staff. Our criminal district courts have an over 100% clearance rate. Our judges are working very hard to reduce the backlog, and we are succeeding. We've reduced the court backlog in felony cases by approximately 62%. And our judges, plus funding for the associate judges who are helping to work through the backlog, we need to sustain that funding. So we have these associate judges and support staff to augment the excellent work of the judges. 62% is progress, 62% is not 100%. So we will continue that work, doubling down to clear that backlog, which was exacerbated by Harvey, COVID, and we will keep pushing forward to reduce that backlog. The fifth component is to streamline case management. We need more tracking mechanisms, more dashboards, more data that all relevant stakeholders across this life cycle of the criminal justice system can see, so that we know from the moment the case is filed until disposition, each point in the system, each of these levers. And we need to make sure that we're tracking it so that we can continue to be iterating and improving each part along this system. If there's delays, if there's inactive cases, we all need that situational awareness, and we need to take action expeditiously and making sure we're streamlining the case management process, that we're tracking those continuances and the reason for such continuances. So we're bringing additional national best practices, and we thank the National Center, who has been a good partner to making sure we are pushing Harris County so that we're best in class nationally. So these, and I used to be a chief operations officer, so I get very excited about these gears that I'm talking about, but which is every point of inefficiency that we can continue making progress on. So this 5-point plan will supplement the other investments we have made and will continue making throughout our justice system. All of us, whether we are the victim, whether we are the defendant, a family member, a witness, a lawyer, a judge, somebody who works at the court, we deserve justice that is fair, impartial, and efficient. And I know that my team and I, Commissioner Garcia and his team, all of these partners and so many others here in Harris County, that we will not stop until we continue to drive purposeful progress, because that is what everybody deserves. So I look forward to hopefully passing this 5-part package of court resources today at Commissioner's Court. And I look forward together as a community to continue driving this improvement. And again, I thank all of these partners and everyone else who helped us put this package together. A brief version of those remarks in Spanish, and I appreciate the Spanish language media who joined us here today. Buenos días, soy Lesley Briones, la comisionada del Condado Harris, Precinto 4. Primeramente quiero dar las gracias al comisionado del Precinto 2, Adrián Garcia, a la jueza Tiaiva Bell de la Corte Penal Distrito, a la jueza Lori Gray de la Corte Penal del Distrito, al subjefe Díaz y al alguacil González del Condado Harris, a Sonia Corrales de Houston Area Women's Center, y todos nuestros socios en el condado y todo nuestro equipo que ha trabajado muy duramente para hacer que hoy será posible. Sabemos que la justicia demorada es justicia denegada. Como abogada y como ex jueza, creo que es importante brindar una justicia oportuna, imparcial y eficiente. Víctimas, acusados, abogados, jueces, personal de la corte y todas sus familias merecen un sistema que funcione. Pero hemos enfrentado desafíos como la acumulación de casos, problemas tecnológicos, fallas en la tasa de asistencia a las cortes o casos de salud mental. Estos problemas demoran la justicia y también pueden alargar los tiempos del cárcel mientras se espera juicio. Y por eso hoy propongo una inversión en las cortes penales para ayudar a todo el sistema de justicia, que se centra en 5 áreas principales. Número 1, actualización de la tecnología. Desde hace más de 10 años no se ha puesto al día la tecnología de las cortes, lo que causa demoras y fallas. Por eso estamos cambiando y actualizando la tecnología viejas. Número 2, mejora de la asistencia a las cortes. Ayudaremos a los acusados a llegar a las cortes con asistencia de transporte y llamadas telefónicas personalizadas, pero también enviaremos avisos bilingües de citas por mensaje de texto. 3. Aumento de los servicios de apoyo a la salud mental. Queremos que aquellos con barreras de este tipo puedan ser juzgados en condiciones y asistir en su propia defensa. Número 4. Mantenimiento de jueces asociados y personal de apoyo. Esperamos continuar el programa de jueces asociados porque ayudó a bajar la carga de trabajo y también la acumulación de casos en más de 62%. Y número 5, mejora de la gestión de casos. Usaremos enfoques basados en datos para optimizar los procesos de gestión de casos. Por ejemplo, tendremos un sistema para identificar los casos atrasados o inactivos. Y sabemos que la justicia es un tema complejo, definitivamente. Y por eso vamos a seguir colaborando y creando el diálogo para optimizar este sistema. Vamos a continuar el trabajo juntos porque eso es lo que nuestra comunidad merece. Y la justicia demorada es justicia denegada, y aquí en el condado Jerez queremos una justicia imparcial, eficiente y oportuna para todos. Así que muchas gracias por su apoyo y gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Thank you again for being here. And next, please help me welcome my colleague, Commissioner Adrian Garcia, Harris County Commissioner, Precinct 2.
Thank you, Judge. First, let me just recognize the distinguished guests that are here and thank them all for their respective role in our criminal justice system. And as the former sheriff, I understand completely just how important it is to ensure that every piece of our criminal justice system is working and working well and is appropriately funded to keep everyone in the public safe. To that end, let me just say that you are witnessing why experience matters. Commissioner Briones brings with her a body of experience to Commissioner's Court, leveraging that experience and helping us make this entire system work well for everyone involved. And then let me also just make sure to point out that when you see the criminal justice system working on TV, it's not just the defense attorney, the investigator, and the prosecutor and the judge. There are so many other pieces involved. And as the son of an auto mechanic, I'll just say that Commissioner Briones is proposing an overhaul of our criminal justice system, a much needed one. Harris County's criminal justice system is obviously complex, as the commissioner has alluded. In every single element, if any single element falters, it can cause the whole structure to collapse. We saw that during the pandemic. But I will be proud to support former judge and Commissioner Briones, her thoughtful proposals to improve the efficiency of the operation. If we want to improve, rather, if we want to reduce the jail population, something I have been so passionate about, and keep our communities protected, it's important for us to provide adequate resources to our courts. This is especially true when it comes to mental health care. There are a lot of folks that are in custody, really not because they're dangerous or bad, it's just because they're sick. And so we have to make sure to give that its proper attention. And our jail-based competency restoration program has been a great success and has showed immense promise and promising results over the last few years. And I want to thank the tireless work of the Harris Center, but in particularly Sheriff Gonzalez and the entire Harris County Sheriff's Office and their detention operations. Providing mental health treatment to offenders can address underlying issues that contribute to criminal behavior, reducing the likelihood of people committing another crime. And it helps keep our detention officers safe without doubt. There are numerous reasons why it's essential to make these investments. Underfunded courts can lead to delays in case processing, denying timely justice to victims in Harris County. By supporting all the elements of our system, we can maintain the quality and integrity of the legal process. It also ensures that guilty people are dealt with promptly. Investing in our court system is investing in the foundation of our democracy. It ensures that justice is served fairly and efficiently and upholds the rule of law and maintains public confidence in our legal institutions. Adequate funding is not just a matter of financial priority, but a commitment to the core values of justice and equality. These investments will also help reduce the jail population, allowing law enforcement and judges to concentrate on serious and violent crime. And I'm looking forward to tracking how these investments will reduce the jail population. And I'm very grateful to have former judge and now County Commissioner Lesley Briones of Precinct 4 and her team putting this package of upgrades to the justice system to improve our operations. And again, experience matters. And there's one particular guest that's here today that I just want to say to her, your mom's a rock star. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. And yes, a special welcome to my oldest daughter, Valentina, who is about to start high school. So next we will hear from Judge Tiaiva Bell of the 339th Criminal District Court. Thank you, Judge Bell.
Thank you. I just want to say thanks to Commissioner Briones and the other commissioners, like Commissioner Garcia. Our court is in bad shape in terms of what the resources are and the ability to adequately process cases in a way that allows for justice to effectively be served. Justice delayed is justice denied, and our jail numbers are extremely high. Now, don't get me wrong. The 67% decrease, that isn't the end of the road. We still have a number of people that we are sending over to Louisiana and other states because we just can't house them. And those funds are not being spent in Harris County because we're sending them to other states. So our goal is to improve the system. And I do want to thank the commissioners because good government works when we all can sit at the table, identify a problem, and come up with solutions to address the problems that we have. And this is a collaboration that started a while ago. And there have been many late night phone calls, weekend phone calls, but the reduction in the cases you see at the 60% is a direct byproduct of that kind of conversations. When we talked about things like how to streamline the process and getting associate judges, and all of the commissioners said, hey, let's look at the numbers if they work, and they did. And we have had a significant reduction in the cases that we process. We are able to try cases faster. We have maintained for well over a year above 100% clearance rate at the district courts. That is something that is unheard of. And if you track the other counties, if you track the national states, we are moving cases as fast as we can and faster than everyone else. But that's a direct byproduct of our collaborative effort and our commissioners being willing to take a look at the problem and actually allocate resources to address those. So I am very thankful. I'll go into the reforms. The text messages. The reason that those reminders are so important is sometimes somebody will miss a court date by a day. A warrant will go out. They'll show up in court the next morning. The sheriff's department has to process them in, and then they will ultimately end up processing them out. If our jails are already overpopulated, that is taxing a resource as opposed to just sending a text message. If you're not going to make it, then you're not going to make it, and there's going to be a way to handle that problem. But if you didn't make it because you got your date mixed up, or sometimes the date is wrong on the reset, that text message reminder will help alleviate us overtaxing and already taxed resources. Our law enforcement are in a space right now where funding-wise, they are applying for and trying to get additional funding. But if you look at the numbers of officers that are present in the jail and the officers that are present in the courtroom and our bailiff shortages, they're doing all they can. And we all have to sit at the table and come up with a way to, even in the small ways, reduce that backlog and that work so we can dedicate their time, efforts, and energy to the people in the jail they really need to be monitored and to monitoring our court system. So that is why that improvement, something seeming so minor, can stop a lot of delay, and that's why that's an important one. As it relates to the modernizing the technology, sometimes people hear 10 years and old, like, my car is 10 years old. We don't ride it till the wheels fall off. Okay, well, that doesn't really work in the court system. When they say 10 years old, that underestimates our problem. I'll take you to my courtroom. My mic on the witness stand, we got 2 pieces of duct tape that we're holding this sucker together with, because the reality is they don't make some of those parts anymore. And imagine sitting in a trial and having a young child testifying about what will be the worst day of their life and being victimized. And imagine that child going to speak and the mic doesn't really work. So you're alone with your victim advocate standing over there. And then you have an audience full of people back there that you really don't want to have all in your business because you didn't choose to be here. And then you have a jury and they need to hear your words. So at the end of the day, they can make a decision. And the kid goes to speak. And the mic doesn't work. So I say, if you just jiggle the little tape to the side and put it over, but it still doesn't. So then you have to ask that kid who is reliving the worst experience, can you yell as loud as you can because our mic doesn't work and the jury can hear you? That is what we are doing in Harris County. That's why the technology advancement is so important. The witnesses need to be able to see what's going on and hear, and the jury needs to be able to hear them. If you look at the comment cards that they collect, one of the things they say over and over is, I really couldn't hear. That results in a reversal of the case, or sometimes missing evidence that was necessary to actually get justice done on the case, no matter what side you're on. When it comes to improving the length of the jail stays, there are people that wait years for justice in our courts in Harris County. That should never be the case. And it comes on both sides. You find yourself in a position where some people get up scared every day, and all they are waiting for is their day in court and their trial day. Well, when you can't have many because you don't have the resources and the court numbers are so high that it takes a while to get to the trials, we're denying them justice every day. For the people that are sitting in custody, waiting for their day in court because they want to walk in front of a jury and say, I didn't do that, and have a jury of their peers decide, the time that we're taking is just too long. So I applaud Commissioners Court, because although study came out 20 plus years ago saying we need 20 courts, and we have heard no over and over and over, and we have seen our trial stats go up over and over, and people's delay get longer and longer. This Commissioners Court did, and you approved 3 for last year, and 3 will come on board next year. Will we be still pushing to do other things to expedite the process? Yes. But when we sat at the table, y'all listened, and not only did you listen, you took action. So I am very grateful for that. With that 6 new courts, 3 that come on September 1st, or 3 additional that come on September 1st, we are processing cases. Our time has gone down. We're able to send court cases to additional courts, and other judges are helping to jump in our courts. We don't have the 5 and 6 years that you were having for a trial. Most of them have been reduced greatly, and if you have a trial in 2 years, is it still terrible to me? Absolutely. But is it better than the 5 or 6 we were at? It is, but it requires joint work and progress, and we are grateful for that. The last one is our jail population and our mental health. The reality of the situation is Harris County Jail is the #1 diagnosis facility in our state. And you have cases that go in. Some people were just like 30 beds. Yes, 30 is not the probably 800 we need, but 30 is more than we had years before, or before we had none. this commissioner's court said we would start the program and did allocate the funding for the 20. The reason the additional 30 is so significant is the wait for a facility, the state jail, is well over a year. And that's just to get in and to begin going through that process. So that means all of those people that just need help are sitting in the jail. And they are occupying space that could be better served with people that we need to have there close and quick so they can go to trial as fast as possible. It shouldn't be a holding space or a detainment space. But I do want to applaud all the people that participate, especially Judge Gray, who runs our mental health section. Through their work and through the identification of those 20 beds, they have a higher success rate than any. The Harris County program has a higher success rate. They are faster to get the people treatment, and they are more likely coming out of that program to not reoffend. It works. So allocating an additional 30 beds is imperative to us going ahead and streamlining the process and making sure justice works for everyone, including the people that find themselves in jail because mentally something's going on a little out of their control. And yes, for some of the lower level cases that you kind of want to get out, you can't. And the reason you can is because if you are not stable, yes, today it was something minor. But if I don't address your problem and you get back out, tomorrow may not be so minor. And who in Harris County pays for it? So I thank the court for actually doing more than talking about the problems, but sitting at the table, helping identify the problems, including Tanya calling me in the middle of the night saying, hey, did you know these numbers look like this? And I'm like, no, let's talk about it. I appreciate that. It works when instead of pointing fingers at each other, we sit down at the table and say, we got the same goal. We might not agree on how to get there, but we're going to come up with something we can all live with. And this is more than that. This is a significant overhaul. And I thank you. I am not as well versed as a mental health aspect as Judge Gray because she is our expert. So I will step out of the way.
Good morning, everyone. This is indeed a special day, and I would like to thank Commissioner Lesley Briones, Commissioner Adrian Garcia, and all of the team who've worked so hard to bring us where we are today. I am the presiding judge of the 262nd Criminal District Court and the presiding judge of the Competency Restoration Docket. And I just have a few points that I'd like to make. When a person is found incompetent, the entire process stops. And that's because our law requires if you cannot participate in your defense, you don't have the mens rea to be able to understand what's happening, everything stops. And so when we talk about being able to, within our jail, to create, as establish and expand a competency restoration docket, that is tremendous. What was in place before, a person found incompetent waited, and then they were transported to a state facility somewhere else in the state. They were restored and then transported back to Harris County. In that process, facts will have been waning. Attorneys' contact, not there. Access to real mental health, not there. The possibility to possibly become incompetent again, very real. And what has happened with the creation and the establishment of the jail-based competency restoration program is that within days, persons who have been found incompetent are restored. They are in contact with their communities, with their medications, with their lawyer, and it's taking a proactive approach. So our justice system must be equipped to handle the complexities of mental health. And it comes in various ways. First, at home. There may be relationships that are now impaired because of mental health. There may be the possibility of not having housing, not having access to mental health medications. These initiatives today closes that gap, and it puts in place health professionals. The mental health competency restoration docket more or less looks like a triage room. You'll have doctors, you'll have social workers, you'll have a whole team seated at tables, and they're able to look at the individual cases and to be able to assess what is actually needed. And in so doing, closing the gap for medication and providing housing if that's the thing. One of the most profound things that I have learned from sitting and presiding over the mental health court is when a person finally becomes aware of what has happened and they can put a name on it, their illness, and then be able to say, now this is how I've identified it because of these resources, and now I can manage it because of these resources. That is life changing. And so to be able to expand our mental health support with the JBCR Competency Restoration Program, that's addressing the challenges. It will result, and it has resulted in cutting back on recidivism, reducing the numbers of persons in jail, reducing the numbers and the wait times, and most importantly, being a real resource to our community. I am so happy to be a part of it, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work to do even more. Thank you so much.
So we have two more speakers, and we'll be wrapping up very soon because we have Commissioner's Court shortly, and I know the judges need to get back to their active dockets, and these community leaders need to get back to their critical work. Next, we will hear from Sonia Corrales, the Deputy CEO of Houston Area Women's Center. Thank you, Ms. Corrales.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Commissioner Briones, for inviting us to the conversation today. By including the voice of thought leaders, advocates, survivors who help end the false sense of shame survivors carry, and you let them know that they're not alone, help is available, and that they can heal. For 47 years, the Houston Area Women's Center has been supporting survivors of domestic abuse, sexual assault, and trafficking. We offer safety, we provide comprehensive life-saving services, and then we implement prevention strategies that challenge cultural and social norms that are supportive of violence. Intimate partner violence, as we all know, domestic abuse, sexual assault, are major public health problems in our community, and they have short-term and long-term physical, mental, sexual, reproductive health problems for adults and for child survivors. These crimes are pervasive, and they are extremely, extremely underreported. When survivors decide to report and the case moves on to court, some survivors report feeling re-traumatized. This can be attributed to the distrust of the system, which can be systematic issues such as case delays or backlogs due to high workloads or lack of resources, including the access to technology. This creates significant hurdles for victim survivors seeking justice and the resolution of their cases. For some survivors, there's added barriers. We also know that domestic violence and sexual assault are they don't discriminate. They impact all demographics in our community. But we also know that these crimes disproportionately impact those who are most marginalized in our society. As a result, intimate partner violence disproportionately affects women and women of color from communities impacted by historical and ongoing oppression. And we cannot ignore the intersection of race, gender, and other forms of oppression that contribute to these higher victimization rates. Now, accountability is not only at the individual level. Systems need to acknowledge harm that they have caused to individuals that they're supposed to serve and change the conditions that allowed it to exist in the first place. Systems need to be held accountable to all survivors and communities. We are glad to be part of this conversation today, and we're glad that action is being taken to accelerate the reform and create change and improvements for everyone. At the Houston Area Women's Center, we believe in a future that is defined by safe relationships and caring families, where entire communities thrive free from violence, We're also committed to strategies and approaches that prevent violence at all levels. Community resources like the Houston Area Women's Center and other organizations in our community and community-based advocacy have a positive impact that promotes healing from trauma. But we cannot do this alone, as already mentioned here today. Our response as a community needs to be multidisciplinary, collaborative, holistic, trauma-informed, and healing-centered that increases safety, promotes continuity of care, supports and empowers survivors while promoting accountability in a fair and just system. Thank you.
And lastly, we will hear from Amy Smith of our Harris County Domestic Violence Coordinating Council. Ms. Smith, help me welcome her.
Thank you. I will be brief. I'm up here to speak for the victims. I've been in victim services in Harris County for close to 40 years. And we've never been at a place where victims aren't really thought about. Victims aren't the first thing that we think about when we think about the criminal justice system, because a victim is the only person that has never asked to be part of the system. They didn't wake up in the morning and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be beaten. I'm going to be robbed. I'm going to be raped. They woke up thinking that they're going to go through their everyday life. What these reforms that Commissioner Briones is putting forth are helping victims. At the Domestic Violence Coordinating Council, our mission is to let victims be safe and hold offenders accountable. This is helping us hold offenders accountable by showing up at court, by restoring their mental health so they can go in court and be held accountable for their actions. It's important as we go through this is to remember that these victims, especially the kids, as Judge Bell said, I mean, it broke my heart to hear the story about a child having to yell what happened to them, about a domestic violence victim having to face her accuser with a piece of tape holding her microphone together. How is that showing that Harris County cares about victims? But we are grateful for Commissioner Briones. We're grateful for Commissioner Garcia. They have done wonders for victims in Harris County through the early childhood resiliency grants that have recently passed by the Domestic Violence Assistance Fund, which we hope continues to be funded here in Harris County. We are here to help. We're here to coordinate. We're here to make sure that Harris County has a coordinated community response, that we all work together to make sure that victims are safe and offenders are held accountable. Thank you.
Thank you again to all of the partners who joined us today. Thank you to all of the team members who made today possible and all of the partners who contributed who were not able to join us today. The bottom line is this is a team effort, and only together, working collaboratively, purposefully, and strategically in a data-driven way, together we will keep advancing justice the way all of our community deserves. So we will continue working tirelessly. We hope you will join us at Commissioner's Court on the first floor. I am proudly proposing this Advancing Justice Court Resources proposal, and we hope that together with this reform and the multitude of others that we have passed and will continue passing, that we will keep delivering on the great promise of what the government can deliver for the people. So thank you for your time, thank you for your partnership, and together let's keep driving Harris County forward. Thank you.